All right, hello, and welcome to the QA/QC lab. Today we're going to show you a test you can do in the field that will help you to compare various degreasers and see which products work the best, and give you some comparative data that you can show the customer to show them how much better it works, or what kind of cost savings or anything like that that they could experience from using the recommended degreaser. So we have a setup here. You'll have a kit that will include 6 of these white plates. It will include a scale like this. It will also have a stir and heater that I'll show you after for some additional tests you can do. Then it will have some of these pipettes that you can use to put your product on, things like that. So, and then we have a spreadsheet that you can use. You can enter your data in there, and then when you've entered it all in, then it will spit out some graphs and some data that you can copy and paste into a Word document or something that you can give to a customer as a report on what you've done. So to start, you get your scale going. All right, make sure you zero it. Okay, and then the first thing you got to do is weigh all 6 of these plates. So you'll get an output here. You can change the units. Right now it's set in grams, but so then you put that in your spreadsheet, the mass of this plate, and then just do that for all of them. All right, so now once you've done them all, and you've got all that entered in, then the next thing you do is, what I like to do ahead of time, is get your 6 or however many samples. You can do up to 6 on this spreadsheet at one time. But so you get your samples of each one, and you determine how much volume of the samples you're going to put on each one. So what we typically recommend is put about 2 grams of whatever grease or sample you have here, and then you smear that onto one of the plates into a nice circular pattern there. And then once you have that, you can put the degreaser on. So because you want to keep your timing relatively the same for all of them, because you're going to be using a stopwatch here to time yourself, you'll want to get the grease put on all of them first, and then you'll want to have your pipettes pre-prepared with 2 mils of the different degreasers. So so that's critical. I'll show you these little plastic pipettes. They're really quite convenient. They're easy to use. I'm going to switch hands here so you can see. But so this is a 3 mil pipette, and the 2 mil line is right about halfway up. So if you squeeze the bulb and then keep the tip immersed in the liquid, and then let it come up until you get to the 2 mil mark. So remember from high school chemistry, the bottom of the meniscus there should be at the 2 mil mark. Once you're there, you pull it out, and then you can release the pressure on the bulb, and then it won't suck up anymore, and it'll keep it at the 2 mil mark. So it's nice to have some little jars or bottles that you can put your pipettes into, so that it's quick and easy to go to the next step. Get them all on quickly, so that your timer is relatively the same for all of them. All right, so what we'll do, we'll put this plate on here, and then you'll have a little spatula like this, a spoon spatula in your kit, so you can use that. So once you put that plate on, the easiest thing to do is press 0 again. So now it says 0, and then I can scoop off some of this to get it to 2 grams. That's a big chunk of wood. there because we got to do some more of these. So once you have it on there, 2 grams, just take your finger, spread it around a bit so that you have some surface area to work with. Try to keep them fairly consistent. All right, and then you can set that one aside, and then you go to the next one, and you just keep doing it until you've got all 6 of them. Treat it to approximately the same mass, so that you're trying to keep all your variables so that you're only changing one at a time. So if we keep our mass of sample the same and our volume of product the same, then that'll allow us to take the first step, which is to determine which is the best degreaser. So I'll finish doing the rest of these and then we'll come back. So now that we've got our 6 samples ready to go here and we've got our 6 pipettes ready to go, what we need to do is put 2 mils of the solvent on each one. So you always want to have a blank, which will be just water, so that you get an idea of, how much does the just water wash off of without help from the degreaser, so that you're only giving the degreaser credit for the work it does. And so we've got water as a blank, and then I'm going to have Megasol here, and I'm going to have Hypersol here, and then I'm just going to put 310 in here as an example, and then Citriclean and Purple Power to compare it to some competitive products. So you can use this to compare our own degreasers, and then you can also take the customer's product, maybe the incumbent product that they're already using, and run a comparison of that too. So I'm going to put these in, and you'll want to kind of spread them around a little bit. This is the water one, which I won't expect a whole lot of. And then the Hypersol here. So once they're on, then we will move them around a bit, just to make sure that it covers all the surface area. So we're just gonna, you want to make sure you don't lose any of it. So we also have some little cups that you can use if you're using really liquidy samples. We have some little cups you can use as well that will hold everything together a little bit better if you want, if things are running around a lot on you, especially for these runny ones that have a lot of water-based products. So this one's just pure water, so I don't expect that it will do much of anything, but there. Now we'll set our timer on the stopwatch, and then you'll want to let it work for about 10-15 minutes. You can see already some of them are starting to dissolve a little bit, but leave it for 10 or 15 minutes and then come back and we do the next step. So now we've been 15 minutes letting the reactions occur. So the next step, you want to find a sink or with a faucet that you can actually rinse it off with. Barring that, as long as you have some water, there's a 1 liter bottle, spray bottle with your kit. You can fill it with water and then you can just pour it over top of your sample there. The idea there is to just kind of keep your pressure and your flow the same for each one. So whether you do it through a tap or you do it with your bottle, it doesn't really matter. So, all right, so we'll go to the next step. Okay. All right, so we're going to wash these off. So basically we're just going to put them under the tap, count to 5, and then pull it out so that it's kind of all about the same. So set the tap there. Okay. This one is just water. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, now we'll go back to the scale and set them out. Okay, so just visually, this is the Hypersol. Looks significantly better than all the other ones. So the next step you want to do is just make sure that you've got them nice and dry on the bottoms and stuff, so that you're not counting weight of water, and just kind of dry around the outside here a little bit. Minimize the amount of water you've added to it, and then let them dry for a little bit, so that you're not counting any extra moisture with it. And then, so zero your scale again. Now you weigh them again. Okay, so 24 grams. So that's what it was before. So no change, didn't really take off anything, less than a gram. Do that for each one of them. For the, I'll do the Hypersol now, just as an example. But so you'll do each one of them, put them in the, you can see some of the moisture that's captured on there. So just make sure it dries out as much as possible. Leave them sit on the counter if you have time. Leave them sit for half an hour or so. Let them dry up. All right. Hypersol 23, and it was 25. So we basically got all of it off. All right, so you'll go through the whole thing with that, and you'll weigh each one of them, and you enter the post-clean weights as well.